Hello everyone. In this video we will learn how we can create a word cloud using a Python. So before I go and talk about the detail, let me show you what word cloud is. Essentially word cloud is an image which contain a bunch of word in a different sizes. The way this work is basically you pass a text file in a word cloud and that word cloud will display it as an image. So the way this words are basically displayed is if the word is repeated most time, right, highest number of time, it will appear in a largest side. The second largest word will be repeated a second highest time in the text file. That's how it will work. And there are different ways you can create this file in different sizes, different shapes, format and everything, and we will look into those things later. So before we start coding, we need to take care of installing packages. So let me open my terminal and start installing the packages. And I believe for this we just need a one package word cloud, but we can install other packages if needed later. So let me type pip install word cloud in my terminal. And make sure you type here a word cloud and not a world cloud, otherwise it will install something different or throw an error. So make sure you type it correctly and then hit an enter. Alright, so after installation complete, you will see the logs here, which shows that there are some dependencies that is also installed. In your case, make sure it at least install pillow library, matplotlib, and numpy. These three are essential for word cloud to work. If any of this library you see missing when you install this pip install word cloud command, then just run the pip command for the specific library. So for instance, if you see numpy is missing in your log here and not collected for some reason, just run another command pip install numpy and it will take care of it. Right, so that's out of the picture. Let's start creating our code. So first thing I will do is create an Python file, and let's call it create wcloud .py, and in here make sure that library we install is proper installed. So to check it, just simply type from word cloud import word cloud and go to your console and run Python file here. So I'll say Python create word cloud and did not get any error. That means our library is successfully imported. I think we also need to import a matplotlib, and we have seen a few minutes back that it's matplotlib is installed when we install the word cloud. So all we need to do is write an import statement. So I'll say from matplotlib import pyplot as plt. So when you say as plt, basically you don't have to write this whole thing pyplot, and generally matplotlib pyplot is used as a plt, so it's kind of a general convention that people uses, so that's why I have used that way. Alright, so next thing we need to get is some text. You can use either your own text file from your local machine, or you can download something from online website. So I'm going to get text from one website, basically Project Ginsberg, that provides free copies of classic novels, and we can use that word in our text file. So let me really quickly go to that website, and you can simply type in Google Gutenberg and open the very first link, Project Gutenberg, and this will give you basically access to free classical novels. and you can use any of the text. It's not necessary to use whatever I use in this tutorial, but I'm going to use this Pride and Prejudice. I'm going to open that novel from Jane Austen, and you can click on this, read this book online HTML, and it will basically give you all of the chapter in a HTML format. So just for this first demo, I'm going to copy text in here. Actually just take one line so we can make sure that it's working, and go back to VS Code, create a new file here. Let's call it chapter1.txt and add here the text. We can add couple more lines actually, so make sure that we don't see only a little bit of content. So I'm gonna go here and add couple more lines. So I think we are good here. Alright, so now we can start typing our code. We have text to work with. I just copied a little bit of text just to show you how it will work. In a next tutorial, we will grab large text, just copy and paste the entire chapter or couple of chapters. But for this tutorial, I just wanted to show you how this works. That's why I have took a little bit of text. So let's start writing a code. So first thing we need to do is grab a text from our text file and store it in some kind of variable. So to do that, I will start using Python IO module, and I can simply say with open, and in here you have to specify the file name, chap1.txt, because that's my file name in here. Now if you are storing your file in a different location, then make sure to provide the correct path here. If you just type chap1.txt, then it will not work. So always make sure you provide a full path here. I only provided the file name and the extension here because both files are stored in the same folder, so there is no reason to provide full path. And here you have to specify the kind of operation you want to do. We just wanted to read a file and grab the text, so I will use -r and add here as f. So now we have this f variable that basically contain all of the data from our text file. Next thing I will do is basically iterate over this f variable and grab text from each line. So what I can say here is for line in f, and what we need to do basically is this line will provide a entire line. So just make sure everything is working. I'm just gonna add a print statement here and quickly run my program to make sure everything is working. And you can see I'm getting my text output in console. So that means it's properly grabbing all of the file content. Now what I will do is, I don't want to get the full lines. Basically wanted to, store each word in some kind of data structure. Probably list is better. So what I will do here is basically create a blank list first, and then for each line I will separate each word. Okay, and that separated each word I will append that in this data list. So to do that, we can simply do that using a line dot split. However, this will give us a list, and we want to basically append each word in our data. So what I will do is assign this to a temporary variable, temp, let's call it temp, and assign this to a variable. Now we have this temp variable which store a list of words in this particular line. And what I can do now is iterate over this each word in a temp, and then I will append that in data append and add here word. So hopefully this will capture all of the words, and append that to in this data list. So let's quickly add the print statement and make sure it's working as expected. So real quick, let me go back here and explain what I'm doing here. First thing we are doing is creating a blank list which we will use to capture our words. In this line we are opening this chapter 1 text file in a read mode and assigning it to a variable. In very next line we are using a loop to basically iterate over each line in the text file, and for each line we are creating a separate list, and that list I am assigning it in this temporary variable. And after we have the temporary list, I am reiterating over the temporary list and appending each word in the data. So finally we will get one list for words from our text file. So let me go back to console, clear it, and rerun our Python file. And you can see here now we have a list which basically contain all of the word as an individual string, and you can see here it basically giving us individual string as a word for all of the line in our text file. So it's working as expected. Now next thing we will do is basically it's straightforward to create a word cloud. So what we can do is here we have to create a word cloud object instance and pass our data. So I'll just simply say here cloud, and you have to initiate a word cloud first. Now don't get confused here, we have to initiate a word cloud object. So here W and C needs to be in a capital. Once you do that, dot add here, and you can add other argument here that we will see in the next tutorial, but here you can just add quickly a dot generate method and have to pass the data. Now this will create a cloud object, but it's yet not visible on the UI. If I run this, it will not do anything. So let me quickly show you that. Let me run that, and it says I am getting some error. So let's fix this error first before I talk about UI component. So it's saying the type error expected a string or a byte like object. Alright, so I get it. What it's complaining basically, we cannot pass this list in this word cloud. It has to be either a long string or a byte like object. So I can simply do achieve that using let's call it a final data, and in here add a space dot join and pass your data. So what this join method basically do is take a list and create a long string and separate each string in a list with the space. So rather than doing this, let me add another print statement just to show you how it works. Let's clear it out, rerun our code. You can see now we have everything in one single long string. So we can use that final data in our generate method. So now instead of passing here data, I'll pass final data, right? And again, as I said, this will not do anything because we are not still displaying the on UI. So if I run this, it will basically run it, but don't display anything on UI. Now what we need to do is this cloud object is generated. We need to pass that in some kind of a chart. We can do that using a matplotlib and display this cloud. So what we can do here is first let's create a figure. So I'll say plt dot figure, and you can pass a different argument here. I'll just pass a fixed size. Let me just type it out, fixed size, and 7 that's the size of the fig. Basically what it will do is create a figure with size 7. So this will create a basically shell image. It will not add any data. So next thing we need to do is basically add the image or data that we want to show in a image itself. So I can say plt.imShow method here and add here a cloud. Next thing we need to do here is we can do a tight layout. I mean, there are other things we can do, but I don't want to bog down too much into this introduction tutorial. So all you need to do here is just write this three statement. First is to create a figure, second is to basically give that what we need to show, and third one when you add this plt.show, and so this command will make sure that it will display image on a UI. So let's go back to a terminal and rerun our command, and hopefully this should create an image. Now it came on a other screen, so let me just drag it here, and you can see now that basically we are getting an word cloud that I have shown you initially. Now there are something here that we don't want. First of all, we don't want this access. So what you can do here is basically just add another argument, plt access, and here just say off, and I believe this should take care of the access. And rerun our code, we are seeing that word cloud with the data we have provided, and you can use this data as much, use any text. It's not like you just have to use whatever I have used. So let me just go back, copy some more data. So we have some more data to work with, so I'm just gonna copy it here, go back to my VS Code and simply paste it. I'm just removing spaces here manually, but in a next lecture we will see how we can do that automatically as well, so that way it doesn't show up in our graph as an empty. So I think this looks good. Save it. Let's go back to our image. We don't want it, so I'm gonna close this, go to our Python file, terminal, and just rerun it. And now we have a new image with different words. So essentially this is how you can create a word cloud using a Python. Now this is a very basic functionality. In a next tutorial I will show you how you can pass different argument while creating a word cloud, and also use a large set of data in a word cloud. So that's all for this tutorial. Thank you. If you like this video, please hit subscribe button and leave a comment.